In our last video, we talked about financial abuse, what it is, how common it is, the fact that it is in 90+% of domestic violence relationships. You're experiencing some type of financial abuse. In this video, I'm going to give you 11 different practical things that you can do if you find yourself in a financial abuse situation. Steps to take if you're being controlled financially right now. 1. Document everything. Keep detailed records of financial documents, transactions, instances of financial control or abuse. Include threats or manipulative behavior, especially involving children. Save texts, emails, and document incidences to create a clear picture of the abuser's actions. Those records can serve as evidence in custody or protection order cases and help show a pattern of abuse. I will say that I didn't have access to any financial stuff, so I wouldn't have been able to do this necessarily, but I also at that time had no concept of actually documenting things, so I could have documented more than I would have been aware of, even if it would have just been writing the dates and the time that something happened, and like, he paid for this, or I offered to pay for this, or I offered to get a job and he told me no, or he forced me to quit this job after 2 weeks because he said that blah, 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 whatever. Those things would still be important. I just didn't realize it at the time. 2. Secure important documents. Make copies of essential documents like IDs, bank statements, social security cards, financial records. Store them in a safe place, preferably outside of the home or with a trusted person if you're afraid that they're going to get discovered. But if you don't have an outside of the home or a trusted person, put them somewhere that you believe they'll be safe. But it's a good thing for you to have copies of these things anyway. 3. Safety planning. Develop a personalized safety plan tailored to your specific situation. This includes planning for emergencies, identifying safe places to go, and knowing how to access resources like shelters and hotlines. Victims often face threats involving their children, which can complicate their ability to regain financial control or to leave. That's part of why having a safety plan in place is so important, or having a safety plan in mind even is so important, because it's extremely common for an abuser to threaten to take the kids if you were to leave, especially if you are the breadwinner, the one that goes out and makes the money, and they're living off of that. They're not going to want to lose that. Just as one situation, there's lots of situations, but in that particular example, they're not going to want to lose that. So they're going to do whatever they can, threaten whatever they can to keep you in the place that is benefiting them. That's where they have you right now. That's where they want you to stay. 4. Confidentiality and privacy. Keep your plans and actions that you take confidential to avoid alerting your abuser. Be cautious with shared devices, online accounts, and communications, making sure that they're secure and private. So don't do things on your computer. If you have a shared computer or they have access to your computer, use a library computer or something like that if you can. Same thing with a phone. When people leave an abuser, I always recommend that they get a different phone. Get one that isn't attached to their account, that they have not ever had access to, so they can't plant something. Technology is just too good for you to assume that you are not being watched through your phone, through your computer. There are lots of free apps that they can put on, Trojans, etc., that they can watch everything that you do. And so if you're doing any kind of safety planning to get away from this person, you don't want them to have access to that. It puts you in danger. 5. Seek legal counsel. Consult a family attorney experienced with domestic violence cases to understand your rights, including custody, child support, and protective orders. Discuss legal protections like restraining orders or protective orders and how to document abuse for court. And understand that legal protections like protection orders, they're only a part of your plan. Protection orders themselves will not protect you physically, but they are an important part of your legal safety plan as a whole. 6. Establish a support network. Reach out to trusted family, friends, domestic violence advocates for emotional and practical support. A strong support network can help you to feel less isolated and provide assistance with logistics, childcare, or housing. Unfortunately, a lot of times that is one of the big things that's taken out by abusers. So if you don't have a support network, look for one. Almost definitely. in the United States, in a city, there will be resources, and there are resources online so that you can access them no matter where you are. Whether it's going through things like thehotline.org or going through like Facebook or Instagram or whatever, there are groups, there are support groups. You can find a support network to build a support network if that's been destroyed in your life. 7, open a separate bank account. If it's safe, open a bank account in your name only. Start saving money discreetly, even in small amounts, to build financial independence. Personally, I got a job delivering pizzas for Pizza Hut, and I was allowed to keep that job for 2 weeks, and then I was forced to quit. But during that 2 weeks, I made tips, and he expected me to give him my tips. So I did. I gave him the tips that he thought would be logical for what I was doing, and I kept some. I don't remember if I split them in half or if I just kept a portion of them, whatever, but I kept that money. It was not a lot of money. It did not end up adding up to a lot of money, but in the end, it allowed me to buy a cell phone that he didn't control and service for that cell phone, so that when I left that relationship, I had a lifeline. And I did not open a separate bank account because I didn't have that option, but I stashed money. 8, utilize local resources. Contact local domestic violence organizations for legal aid, counseling, and practical support. These organizations can connect you to financial assistance programs and shelters in your area. 9, self-care and emotional support. Recognize that financial abuse takes a significant emotional toll. All abuse takes a significant emotional toll. Seek counseling, join a support group, something to work through the emotional impact and rebuild your confidence. 10, financial literacy. Empower yourself by learning about financial literacy. This knowledge can help you regain control over your finances, rebuild your credit, and plan for a financially independent future. Free resources that I recommend are the hotline.org for general domestic violence information, including financial abuse information, and domesticshelters.org for resources as far as finding a domestic violence hideaway, shelter, place to go if that's something that you need. Financial abuse is one of the topics that we cover in the Scary Ex Survival System, our online program for women who have recently left an abuser, who believe that their lives, and quite often their kids' lives, are in danger from their ex. You can go to the links in the description for more information on that program. Question of the day: do you have ideas for resources or advice that you would want to share in the comments to help other people out? In the next video, we're going to talk about emotional abuse. So if that's something that is interesting to you, or you think that that's a part of your story, make sure to check that video out too. And remember to subscribe for more videos empowering women on how to survive scary exes. Until I see you again, please stay safe.